So today, we're all honored, but I'm honored to present the 6th Annual Chairman's Award to Mr. Manny Crump. Chairman's Award recognizes a local resident whose lifetime achievements have gone up above and beyond the responsibilities of good citizenship in making a profound difference in people's lives in Jackson County. Manny's love of basketball began as a young boy in Southern California, where he played high school ball for Duarte High School, which was a tough high school down in Southern California, I remember. Probably still is. And after graduating high school, he played 3 years at Oregon Tech in Klamath Falls, and then 1 year at SOSC, which is where I met him, in Ashland, Oregon, of course. Manny's received many awards and accolades through the years, including having his jersey, number 21, retired at Duarte, MVP of the Evergreen Conference, NAIA Player of the Year, All-Northwest Team, and made the top 20 list for the NBA Lakers team in the Summer Pro-Am League. Pretty impressive. I'd like to see those other 19 guys. They're probably pretty good, too. Gotta be. He has received the 25 Years of Service Award from the Oregon Athletic Coaches Association. And after moving to Southern Oregon in 1977, Manny has held coaching positions at many of our area schools, including Ashland High School, McLaughlin Middle School, St. Mary's School, High School, and most of these while developing and organizing his own basketball league, which I think just about everybody in here has probably participated in. Needless to say, the number of lives he's touched is innumerable. Manny realized Southern Oregon had very few opportunities for young people to play basketball, and he began finding players to play against each other in 1985. And he started the NBA Basketball League with 6 teams. Since its inception, this program has grown to encompass 140 teams participating year-round, which is amazing. That is just an unbelievable task to coordinate and to organize. So, 140 teams. This program is focused on improving the fundamental skills of boys and girls ages 7 to 18 through a year-round academy, clinics, camps, individual instruction, and leagues. He also started the basketball leagues at Kids Unlimited in 2005 and organized the first annual Mail Tribune All-Star Game there, which they still play. These children have been truly benefited from having Manny inspire them not only as a player but as a leader. For the last 25 years, Manny has shared his love for the sport and helped build character, inspire confidence, and teach respect to the youth of our community. A couple people who could not be here wanted to just say a few things. And Danny Miles, former OAT coach and assistant athletic director of Grace Christian Schools, says Manny Crump was an outstanding young man. Been a while since you've been called a young man, I'm sure. And player in my basketball program at Oregon Tech. I'm so proud that he's been able to offer his gift of service to the hundreds of young people in the Rogue Valley. Manny, thank you for your continuing to be an Oregon Tech guy. I thought you were an SOU guy. All right. All right, well, pull this award. This is from Rob Younger, Executive Director of the Oregon Athletic Coaches Association. And he says, the positive influence and guidance that you provided to the thousands of athletes that you interacted with is much appreciated by many. Thank you for being not only a great mentor, leader, and role model for those you coach, but also for the hundreds of coaches you've worked with and competed against over your career. And in his spare time, not much of that I'm sure, Manny enjoys spending time on and off the hardwood with his family. He lives in Medford with his wife Karina, 2 sons, Manny Jr., Jordan, and his 2 daughters, Alyssa and Shayna. Service to the youth of our community is a way of life for Manny, and as the chairman of the Board of Commissioners, I am pleased to recognize him with the 2016 Chairman's Award. Then I had just a couple things. Sorry, I don't want to make this too long. So I've known Manny for a long time. I met him at SOU back in the early 80s. I say met him, basically saw him go by me to the basket many, many times. And whether he was beating me there at SOSC and intramurals or in the Medford or Ashland City Leagues or even just at the noon ball at the Y, I've always known Manny as he's a fierce competitor. He's got unbelievable talent and passion and love for the game. But one of the other things, and I don't see him here today, one of the other things I always, about Manny in those days is he knew how to surround himself with great talent. And if anybody remembers playing his teams back in those days, everyone else on his team had the nickname was either Big Joe, Big Jim, Big John. They were all huge. Kevin played for his team too. He's about as short as he allowed on that team. But it was always Manny's team. And whenever they needed a big play, big shot, the ball was in Manny's hands, and he usually delivered. And this is a skill Manny utilizes in his youth basketball programs. His wife, Corinna, keeps him organized and on task. I'm sure. He employs some of the, he's got great coaches and counselors that work year-round with the kids. And he employs some of the older kids that are in the program to run concessions and the gate. But Manny is always at the heart of the program. And it would never work without his dedication and passion and love for the game and the kids. And Manny's the first one in the gym and always the last one to leave. And I know, because I'm usually having to hang out there with him, doesn't matter what time it is. If there's kids that want to keep playing, Manny throws his whistle on and he'll ref that game until the last kid wants to leave. And that's sometime 9:30. And I'm sure he was there early in the morning. So he puts in lots of hours there for these kids. And I've been able to help coach some of Manny's travel teams as well. And you'll see Manny pulling up to the hotel and 6 or 7 kids all pile into a room, whether it's Salem, Reno, Portland, wherever they're playing basketball that weekend. And Manny spends his entire weekend coaching these kids, taking them to dinner, hanging out with them in the hotel. And he gives a lot of kids a lot of experiences and opportunities that they wouldn't get otherwise. And he does it all without compensation. And I'm pretty sure no kid has ever been turned away because of their ability or inability to pay. And you usually see Manny pulling into practice with 2 or 3 kids that had no other way of getting to practice that day. So he makes sure everybody gets included and everybody gets to participate. And there are many kids out there being given the chance not only to learn to play and love the game of basketball, but to learn about teamwork, sportsmanship, discipline, and hard work to achieve their goals. And they wouldn't get that chance without Manny ball in a lot of cases. And I was at the gym with Manny a couple weeks ago, and a guy, probably in his mid-30s, said he was an attorney in Central Point, came up to us. And he said, "Hey Manny, I remember you coached me in 2nd grade. And I just loved you and you were amazing, and now I have my son in Manny ball, so thank you." And the first thing I thought was, you coach this guy in 2nd grade, you're old. But secondly, I'm sure this was just one of hundreds of kids that have had the opportunity to learn something and to love a game that helps them stay in school, stay out of trouble, and succeed in life because of the lessons they learn on the court. So when the opportunity came for me to be able to recognize one person I've seen really make a difference in this valley, there was no one more deserving than Manny Crump. So thank you and congratulations, Manny.
My name is Matt Morrissette. I live in the Grants Pass area, and when my son Chris was playing basketball in 5th grade, everybody kept telling me, "You got to get this kid down to Manny ball. You got to get him down to Manny ball." And I kept thinking to myself, Manny ball? What the heck is Manny ball? You know, is it like basketball? Is it the same thing? And so they're saying, "Oh, he's got these leagues down there. You have to get him down there. That's where all the best competition is." So we got down there kind of late. The season was already rolling. Manny and I worked out a deal. I had my son and one of his best friends needed a place to play. He said, "I'll tell you what, if you'll volunteer to coach one of our teams, you can bring your kids down here. We'll let them start late." And so that was the first time I really understood where he was coming from with these kids. I've coached for 26 years myself. I've never met any coach who really cared more about the kids than Manny did. And it didn't matter what their age was, what their skill level was. Manny really cared about them. And I just wanted to share a personal story with my son and with Manny. We were about 2 weeks into practice from that first season, and Manny's all-star team was a little short players for practice, so he asked me if my son could practice with them. After about 20 minutes, he asked me, "Do you think Chris would want to play in my all-star team?" And I thought to myself, wow, you know, is he good enough? And so I turned to Manny and I said, "Do you think he's good enough?" And he says, "Well, we don't know." He says, "But I like the way he plays. He plays with a lot of effort. He likes to get up and down the court." And that was the beginning of a real transition for my son Chris. And this is one of the special things about Manny. My son's not a tall guy. Manny didn't care about that. There are a lot of coaches that would have looked right past that and said he's too small. But Manny didn't care. Manny looked at him and said, I think he's got a place on this team. And those middle school years are very transitional. I don't think my son gave 5 seconds to the thought of playing college basketball at that point. But it was playing for Manny and his constant encouragement, even when he made mistakes late in games and ran into, issues as kids do run into. Manny was always there to pat him on the back and keep him pumped up. And it was those 4 years, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade playing for Manny, that my son made a decision that he had a goal of wanting to play college basketball. That was him. I mean, I give my son a lot of credit for the work, but it was the encouragement of playing for Manny that really got him thinking in that direction. And when he got into high school, he was at such a high level on his confidence, he eventually became, he was first team All-State tournament, and conference player of the year at his high school in the Grants Pass area. And got his opportunity to play college basketball in Washington. And for all of that, and for the joy that you brought to him and to me, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and there's no one more deserving than you are to get that award.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Manny, I know you love this, so we're going to have you say just a couple words.
Thank you. I'd like to tell you how it all got started. I'll give you a little summary. Back in 1977 to 82, I had just finished up my college basketball career at Oregon Tech and Southern Oregon State College. And there was a professor at Southern Oregon State College that asked me to go down and talk to and work out with the kids at Ashland High School. So I went down there and talked to Jerry Houck, who was the head basketball coach at Ashland High School at that time, and he gave me a job as an assistant coach. So during the off season, I would ask the players to meet me at the college on the weekend to work out on basketball drills. So we started out with 6 players at the gym. And a few years later, we ended up with about 30 kids. And at that time, I was playing on the traveling basketball team sponsored by Airport Chevrolet, and my teammates would ask their cousins and nephews to show up at the workouts. So a few years later, we ended up with about 10 teams in a spring basketball league. So at that time, we started moving those basketball leagues to different locations in the valley. And over the years, we started out with 6 kids coming to basketball practice. We ended up with about 30 kids in the spring league team. So as of today, we have over 140 teams playing in a year-round basketball league. And I would like to thank the community, all the volunteer coaches over the years that put in the time to help build this program. I also like to thank my coaches, Marius Boone, Kim Ramsey, Dustin Bond, for all their hard work. And I'd like to also thank Chuck and Butler Ford for sponsoring our traveling basketball teams. And also I'd like to thank Rick Dyer for putting in time to help with the program. And once again, thank you for the award.
So I just want to add, I want to thank Commissioner Dyer for the great nomination selection for the Citizen Chairman's Award, and Manny Crump. And I just think when I read about what he's done, I'm not involved in your program at all, but we just appreciate your passion and your dedication and your inspiration that you bring to the young people and families of Jackson County. And I know you think we're involved in politics, but my husband coached, and when you coach kids, there's a lot of politics. And when you can rise above that and have such a successful program, it just attests to your determination and your passion for what you're doing. And we just thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.